Hello, welcome to Locked on Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And the Sharks blow a 3-1 lead as they fall to the Philadelphia Flyers. We're going to talk about Erik Karlsson because it's Erik Karlsson and his 50 points so far this season. Tomas Hertl's rebound game, and then kind of what to make of Kevin Labanc's 2-minute penalty that probably should have been a 5-minute. So all that plus 3 fries of the week and more on today's episode of Locked on Sharks.
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin, San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked on Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch this on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, we are back in the hallway tonight. Yes, family's still in town. So I've been kicked out of everywhere, but back in the hallway, making things happen right now. So I'm going to try to bring the energy. I've heard the criticisms. Not enough energy, so I'm going to try to bring the energy. And how can you? We got to start with Erik Karlsson, right? 50 points, 37 games, the third fastest for a defenseman since 1975 to 76 season. Continuing to just be ridiculous at all times at what he is doing right now. Beautiful setup on the power play for Hertl. And then the Kevin Labanc goal to start the third period where he is tracking the puck, bouncing off the boards as he's going forward. So the puck's along with him. He is able to corral it, pass it between his legs to set up. It goes to Hertl. Hertl passes it to Labanc, and Labanc just snipes it down. Who does that? Like, again, 50 points for Erik Karlsson and 37 games. We are seeing something we have not seen from a defenseman in a long, long time. And especially on a team that is as bad as the Sharks are. He is carrying this team on the blue line. And someone got in my mentions, well, he's -7. Have you seen the rest of the Sharks roster? The dude is carrying this team right now. Get out of here with your plus-minus stats. In the year of our Lord Gary Bettman, 2022, you're bringing plus-minus when talking about Erik Karlsson. The dude is on another level this year and just continuing to put highlight plays. And you know what? That pass was great. There was a pass that he made on the power play, the Sharks' second power play, where they did not score. He is down on the dot. He gets the pass. He sees Timo Meier basically on the other dot. He fires this pass. I swear there's 4 sticks, and he just slings it through. Timo Meier gets a great shot, doesn't go in, but he is just on another level tonight. Right now, he scored 11-game point streak now for him, one shy of the Sharks record of 12. And Sharks play the Stars, and then they play the Blackhawks. He could on this weekend. I don't see how. Yeah, I would be surprised if he's not at 13 by the end of the weekend. So I would be shocked if he does not score in both games this weekend. So he's outstanding. This is why you paid $11.5 million for. It took a little while to get there, but I don't know what else you can ask of him right now to play goalie. Like, he is making magic happen this year. And, the Sharks have, again, they lose a game. They blow a 3-1 lead. Credit to the Flyers. That team does not go away. They play hard all throughout the game, but credit to them. They came back and won this game. But I don't know who do you pin this on, right? I guess you pin it on not calling a 5-minute major there on Kevin Labanc. I thought it should have been a 5-minute major, right? Labanc trying to play the puck. Joel Farabee hits him square in the numbers. His head hits the board. He's lying there, for a couple minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if Labanc is out for a little bit. I'm not saying it was a concussion, but if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So we'll see what happens with Labanc there. Especially, again, Sharks have, so they play Saturday, they play Sunday, then they have 6 days. Then they don't play again until January 6th, that Friday. So they have some time off. So wouldn't be surprised if you kept Labanc out these 2 games. Gives them basically a week to kind of get healthy, get right, see where he's feeling in that time. So we'll see. Of course, the Sharks are injuries are starting to mount a little bit for the Sharks here, with especially kind of in those middle 6 guys, right, with Cunningham out for the year. And now if Labanc is out for any time, we'll see what the Sharks do from there. But, I think as much as I think the Flyers won this more than the Sharks lost this game. They, especially that third period, they gave up a goal early in it, but they fought back in that game. 5-on-5, third period. Sharks, they did okay. The shots were pretty close. Actually, the Sharks had the advantage in the shots. High danger chances, all that stuff. The Sharks had the advantage. Even the expected goals for were pretty similar, but the Flyers, they're a very physical team. It was a very entertaining and physical game, and they just took advantage of the small mistakes, and they were able to climb back in this game. The Owen Tippett goal where they win a board battle. Owen Tippett is by himself. The defense can roll over quick enough to cover for him, and he puts a great shot on that. The game tying goal by Lofton. It bounces off Ferraro and looks like Nick Bonino from a connecting shot. And I guess Lofton, it seemed, bounces off a couple guys and goes in. Would you like a stop there by Kaapo Kahkonen? Yes, you would. But, when it bounces off 3 guys, it's hard to track the puck there, right? And then in the overtime, again, another mistake by the Sharks. Bad change. The Sharks are trying to get a change when nobody really has possession. Flyers get possession, start a rush. It's 3-on-1. Tomas Hertl is doing his best Brent Burns starfish defense approach. Tony DeAngelo cleans it up. Again, I thought Kaapo Kahkonen actually played really well tonight. We'll get into Kaapo Kahkonen here in a minute, but it's just a game where the Flyers took advantage of the opportunities they had and wrestled away the win. So, again, very impressed with the Flyers team. I thought it was a really fun, entertaining game, really physical game. So if you like a lot of hits and some nastiness to this game, definitely was that. You could tell the crowd was really into it. But again, Sharks lose. Personally, would have rather have liked to see them lose in regulation. Don't want those loser points in the old tank for Bedard sweepstakes. But I thought it was a very fun, entertaining game. So before we dig into the numbers of this game, look at how the forwards, as we have the new look forwards here, how are they producing? How did Kaapo Kahkonen tonight look? And then, of course, we'll probably talk some World Juniors and 3 Fries of the week. Let's take a quick break.
You're locked on.
Take a quick break. Hit the wrong button there. Talk to you guys about our friends over. Actually, not our friend. Just a very important message this time of year. So it's New Year's Eve this weekend. You're probably going to go out, celebrate, maybe have a couple drinks. A couple drinks become a few drinks, a few too many. Evening comes to an end. People start to head out, think of calling for a ride. You're like, nah, I live by. It's no big deal. I can make it home. What are the odds you'll get pulled over anyway? Even so, what's the worst that could happen? Your insurance could goes up. You could lose your license. You could lose your job, total your car, kill somebody. Everyone knows the risks of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. So if you're thinking of to drive after a few drinks, think again. Play it safe. Plan ahead to get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. All right, so Sharks, like I said, I thought they played a really good game. Just as we've seen from the Sharks a lot of times where they just make that one brutal mistake and they are just, unfortunately just give it up there. So like I said, Sharks 5-on-5 situation, they were the better team in this game. So shot attempts pretty close. It was 41-36 Flyers at 5-on-5. Shots for 19-20 Flyers, again pretty close. This is all 5-on-5. 51.28% to 48.72. Of course, or shot attempts for the Flyers, again really close. Expected goals for 2.26 to 1.82. Again, the Sharks produce more expected goals, had 8 high danger chances, 18 scoring chances. Like they did, they created an offense. And, talking with Rachel yesterday, you knew the Sharks were going to kind of be able to do that, right? But in the third period, the Flyers kind of, again, took advantage of the opportunities that they had there. So looking at the lines, so again, on defense, no Matt Benning tonight, just I had a feeling, especially after he blocked that shot, but Barabanov, Couture, Meier played 12:46 time on ice, and then you also had at 5-on-5, you had Matt Nieto, Tomas, Hertl, Kevin Labanc, 10:57. Svechnikov, Sturm, Bonino, 8:58. And then Matt Nieto, Nico Sturm, and Nick Bonino, only 1:12. A little bit interesting there. That the fourth line kind of got a little, it should have been Gaudreau, Lindblom, Lawrence. That line basically got benched, especially in this close game. Pulling up their shift report now. It is, they basically didn't play like the third period. So most of the third period, that line, okay, you're up one trying to win a game. So, all right, let's look at, so Barabanov, Couture, Meier. Again, last game, they were outstanding against Vancouver and they lost. This game, a little bit poor. So they're 12:46 time on ice. Again, more than the Hertl line. So interesting to see there. Corsi Ford, 10 shot attempts, gave up 15 actual shots. Those 5-7, excuse me. Did give up had a goal allowed. Expected goals for was 0.54. Expected goals allowed was 1.05. So woof there defensively. High danger chances for, high danger chances allowed. Or sorry, high danger chances for was 2. High danger chances allowed was 4. 4 offensive zone, 8 neutral zone, 4 defensive zone starts there. I had someone ask me about icing and how does this affect it. Icing is ice when they ice the puck. Those are considered in there as well. But icing, I was kind of looking at some of the icing numbers. The Sharks only average 4 icings per game, where they are kind of the ones icing the puck. So I don't think it's much of a big sample size to really kind of worry about it. It's like 4.5 that they average in a game so far this season. So, like, yes, they get stuck in some defensive zones there, but, they out of all the defensive zone starts at 5-on-5, 4, 10, 13. So 13, we'll just say on if they average 4. So it's it's a fair amount, but I don't think it's altering your game plan super much. But Matt Nieto, Tomas Hertl, Kevin Labanc, again, play a little under 11 minutes. 7 shots for, 11 allowed. 3 shots on goal, actual, and then 5 allowed. Did have 2 goals for, gave up a goal. Again, Tomas, so yeah, Hertl and Labanc goals there. 4 scoring chances, 3 allowed as well. Expected goals for is 0.42, expected goals allowed is 0.5. So basically broke even there. High danger chances were 1-1, 2, 1, and 5 for your zone starts there. So Hertl kind of drew the defensive zone starts there. Svechnikov, Sturm, and Bonino, 858. 5 and 3, so good on the shots there. 2-1 actual shots on goal. Expected goals for is 0.23 and actually 0.04 expected goals allowed. So good defensive work there. High danger chances, 2 scoring chances, 4 neutral, 3 defensive zone starts. So interesting to see if David Quinn, especially after the last 2 games, we had a really great Couture Meier game in Vancouver, and then kind of a poor game here. Interesting to see if now that Hertl had a really good game, if we get the Hertl Meier combination back and try to kind of build that super line. Don't know what to do if Kevin Labanc is out, because he's been that top line forward for the Sharks. Who you fill in with them? If it's Matt Nieto, Nick Bonino, Lindblom, Seuss, I don't know. It's not like any of the other guys have really kind of stepped up there. This is where you're starting to see a little bit of the, shuffling the chairs on the Titanic when it comes to the bottom 6 there. But interesting to see what they do to there if Kevin Labanc is out. Again, I'm just speculating on Kevin Labanc if he's actually injured or not. Again, when you're lying on the ice for a couple minutes like that, it's a little worrisome. So, and then Kaapo Kahkonen. So I thought he played well tonight. I know the box score is not going to say so otherwise. Again, so if you look at the goals, right? Konechny tipped the first one. Again, would you like a save there? Yes, you would like a save there. Also, Konechny is really good. Second one was Sharks lost the board battle behind the nets, right? And he's starting to go, and then he knows what's happening, and he actually gets his shoulder on it. And if he's like a half a second earlier, he probably gets like more of his chest on it and makes a save there. Good reaction, just not quite fast enough there. And then the same thing, like I said, on the third goal where it bounces off 3 guys and he's unable to get a save there. So he made some huge saves, especially early in the game, a couple of odd man rushes. Had a big stop on D'Angelo. Scott Harrington did a good job of getting his stick down and deflecting the puck a little bit. So it wasn't right in D'Angelo's breadbasket. He had to kind of slow down a little or get his stick back a little bit for it. But I thought Kaapo Kahkonen looked pretty good, made some big saves when he had to. And then over time, with 3-on-3, it's so chaotic. And all of a sudden you're on the rush going the other way. But, let's dig into his numbers. So 22 of 25 saves. That's weird. It doesn't count the overtime there. Anyway, he gave up 4 goals. So that's really weird that it's not showing that on natural stat trick. Interesting. Anyway, sorry. So high danger saves, had 4 high danger shots, made 2 saves there. Mid danger shots, 5 and 4. And then 14 low danger. So again, the Sharks did a pretty solid job of kind of keeping it out along the borders there, kind of keeping the low danger shots, for him. But again, it's tough with, I think, yes, would you like to save none of those goals? I'm like, he should have stopped that one. I thought Kaapo Kahkonen looked really solid, which is what you want to see from him, especially from the season that we have gotten so far this year. So yeah, it's a little tough. Not the results you wanted, but unfortunately, that is how tonight ended. Before we finish up, we'll talk some World Juniors. We've got some more games under with Filip Bystedt and then Ben Gaudreau. Talk some Connor Bedard a little bit. Do want to let you guys know about the Locked On Sports Today podcast. Thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Now for your second listen, go check out the Locked On Sports Today. They've got the biggest stories around the sports world in 20 minutes or less, plus instant reactions, game recaps, and your Locked On's take of the day. Locked On Sports Today, available on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. All right, so let's start with Filip Bystedt. So last game, Tuesday, when we talked, Bystedt had, I think it was Tuesday, whenever we talked about Bystedt last, amazing, great game. Really had a little bit better, more competition today in the Czechia game. I thought he looked really solid. You could see kind of also the defense from him and the back checking. I think is something you see that a lot with the Swedish players, how they focus on kind of their development with the back checking and kind of, especially like Eklund, right? Eklund is a huge back checker, like amazing back checker. And I don't think Bysted's ever going to be Eklund on the back checking, but I feel like his development there is coming along. Had a really nice coast to coast on a piece of toast attempt the other day. I think that was Austria or whatever. They blew out whoever they were playing. No, it wasn't Austria. Anyway, really nice coast to coast. This close to finishing it off type of thing. But you can see his confidence, especially because he's been playing against men on the third line. Now that he's playing against a little bit lesser competition, you can kind of see his confidence there. Sweden in today's game, they were down Erik Karlsson, who's going to probably be the third or fourth pick in the 2023 draft. And then they were down Lysell, who one of the Boston Bruins top prospects, kind of had to juggle things a little bit. And you could tell they didn't really have the same kind of chemistry just because of along the forward lines, right? When you're down two players, especially your top two players, or arguably your top two players. But they did what they had to do, and they won the game. And again, Bryce said you're seeing kind of making those little plays. I don't think he's going to be the flashiest player ever, but you're seeing kind of building that confidence, making the right little plays, and helping his team win there. And I think that's going to be his game. Occasionally you have the flash, the coast to coast type of things, but I think his game is kind of more subtle and more nuanced, and learning about kind of positioning and being in the right spot and kind of thinking the game, and that kind of seems to be where he is at with it. So he's having a great tournament so far. Has 4 points, I believe, right now so far in 3 games. Love to see it again. Enjoying to be able to kind of play against guys his own age right now instead of playing some grown men in Sweden. I'm sure he's probably enjoying it right now. And, but take this experience when he goes back to Sweden, some more confidence with him as his game continues to grow and evolve. So Ben Gaudreau also got the start for Team Canada tonight, had a shutout. Didn't have too much work as Canada pumped Austria. It was like 11-0. So I think he had 12 saves, but again, that's especially after these struggles in the first game against Czechia, come in, probably has to feel a lot better about himself. A confidence booster here soon. I assume Team Canada is probably going to go back to Mielek as things go, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gaudreau gets another shot at, in a big moment here. So, Team Canada, they need to win their next game. I believe they need to kind of do it kind of convincingly to try to get that top spot in their grouping. And they play Team Sweden, so we are going to have a Canada, Sweden, so a great matchup coming up this weekend with that. So again, I expect Tomas Mielek, their other goaltender to start there. But Bystedt can kind of get to Mielek a little bit, and then you get Gaudreau in there, and you get the Gaudreau Bystedt matchup that we were all waiting for. That would be great. So, and then we can't not talk about Connor Bedard, who is really good. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you've been watching Sharks hockey this season and rooting for wins, you come to the wrong place. I want Connor Bedard. He's doing things like Erik Karlsson's doing things we haven't seen. Connor Bedard's doing things we haven't seen. He's already tied the World Juniors record for goals. He can still play in 2 more tournaments after this tournament. Not that he's not going to. He could. He's eligible. He's already tied the goals. Yeah, he's really good. Just imagine William Eklund slinging passes at Connor Bedard for the next 15 years. So every time you get sad about a Sharks loss this year, just picture that moment. Just picture that Connor Bedard and that Teal 98, William Eklund, Teal 72, slinging passes to Connor Bedard as he snipes from ridiculous angles. And that'll make every loss feel a little bit better. If we get Connor Bedard, all these losses, they go away. You don't care if you have Connor Bedard. So if you're not watching World Juniors, and you want to see what the hubbub is about with this Connor Bedard, now's your chance to watch him on kind of the biggest stage for these prospects right now, right? These are some of the best. Again, put this in perspective, right? Adam Fantilli, who was like the number 2, like he is going number 2 in the draft, right? It's going to be, I've heard well, what if they take Connor? No, Connor Bedard's going number 1. It's no doubt, right? Especially after this. I know you don't want to put too much stock into a tournament, but again, what he's doing right now is absolutely redonkulous. So Connor Bedard, this hasn't updated yet. So in his games played, because he's up to, I think they're up to 3 games now. Fantilli's got 2 points this year in the World Juniors. And again, Adam Fantilli is would be the number 1 prospect in most drafts for the past 10 years. Connor Bedard he is the franchise changer. Yes. Get Connor Bedard and Teal. So that's what you want. All right. That's going to 3 fries of the week. So what we did, we took the fry budget, put it all together. We got 2 large fries. We're giving 1 to Erik Karlsson and 1 to Timo Meier. Those 2 guys right now I know Timo didn't score tonight, but what those guys right now are dragging the Sharks franchise to being anywhere relevant right now. So, Timo had a 6-game scoring streak. Karlsson's on 11-point game point streak, right? 11-game point streak right now. About ready to tie, then break the Sharks franchise record. Yeah, I don't know how you can not just give the fries to them. So they both get a large fry this week. They split the fries. All right, so that's going to be it for me today. I'll be back on Monday. Talk about the weekend. Busy weekend. We got 2 Barracuda games, 2 Sharks games. So we'll recap everything on Monday. And then next week, we got a bunch of fun stuff planned since the Sharks don't play again until Friday against the Ducks. And I probably won't do a Ducks preview because we've talked about the Ducks way too many times this year already. So got some fun stuff planned for next week. So make sure you're following me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can listen, of course, wherever you get podcasts. Amazon Music, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, you name it. You can listen to it. We're there. You can also watch on YouTube as well. You can see my sweet, my mother-in-law got me this sweet Sharks, reverse retro Sharks hat. Also, make the reverse retros every Thursday. They're too good of a jersey to be putting away for the next 4 months now. So, yeah. And until Monday, bye, friends.